Welcome to the Saddle Up Show with Shad. It's just me. I'm alone. My man Destin Adams had started the job at A to Z Sports. If you rock with Destin, go follow my boy. He's over there getting it in, man, and we support him to the fullest. I'm extremely proud of him to see him over there. He's definitely doing his thing, and we look forward to linking up again and crossing paths. We've definitely been talking behind the scenes. Man, I'm glad y'all pulled up. I see people still coming in. So, we're going to get to it. We definitely going to get to it because it's a lot to talk about. Got to talk about the direction of the show, man. Definitely got to talk about that. But we got to talk about training camp, too. Training camp is officially underway. The drought is over. I couldn't wait, man. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I was delirious over here. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to write about. But we here, man. And from what I heard, it was a good day. I saw a lot of footages, got a lot of footages sent to my phone. It was some good stuff, man. It was some good stuff. It was a joy to see. We're gonna get into all of that though. But first, we're gonna talk about just the direction of the Saddle Up show. In the mind frame I was in, the mind frame I was in for the last couple of weeks. This show almost didn't happen, man. The Spectrum, man, just left my house, fixing my internet. I was like, man, if I don't show up, these people gonna kill me. So I gave him a hard deadline that he had to be done by, and he definitely finished. I see people pulling up. Stats Matt, my guy. What up? Johnny, my boy. Hey, man, y'all go follow my guy Johnny on Twitch. If you're a gamer, you like to watch people play the game, Johnny is the absolute best at Fortnite. Johnny, drop your Twitch link in the comments, please. Shout out to my boy She in the building. The real Mr. Coat, I see you. I see you. Yeah, we about to get this thing shaking. We definitely about to get it popping, man. Different energy moving forward. Different energy for sure. For those of you that missed it, I definitely gave my guy Destin his flowers because he definitely deserved it. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. This wouldn't be possible at all. The real Mr. Coat, what it do? Look at my dog Destin in the comments. He's the first person to get clicked. Definitely my dog out here on YouTube. I see you, boy. Great first day from you. I seen you live tweeting, keeping us informed. I was tuned in to Destin tweets and my guy Jake Arthur for sure. Two of the very best. Shout out to James Boyd as well, Nate, man, all those guys, all those beat guys. I love what they do, man. Shout out to them. Oh yeah, I definitely saw OBJ as well. I saw OBJ. Happy guy, happy man. All right, so let's start. Let's get into it. So Destin hit me 2 weeks ago, I believe. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was well in advance of when he announced to y'all he was leaving to let me know that he had took the job, and I was extremely proud of my brother. Like I said, anytime you get a chance to support your family in the media business, it's definitely something you got to jump on. Like you can't pass an opportunity like that up because that's what we all do it for. That's what we all got into the business for, and that's what we all working towards. So I was extremely proud of him that he had that opportunity, and he called me straight up, let me know what was going on and what the direction he decided to go in. So, I was kind of at a crossroads about what I wanted to do as far as just with the Saddle Up show in general, that I even want to continue to do it because it was seriously doubts in my mind about whether I was going to continue. Oh, for sure, Matt, we're going to get to that. We definitely going to get to my man Sterling Weatherford, even though he's just became a LA Round, my second team. Shout out to them. But to stay on track, yeah, I had doubts, man. I really had doubts about whether I wanted to continue to do it because a lot of this is not an easy thing to do. Get in here and podcast and write articles and keep you guys informed on the latest and everything that's going on behind the scenes. So, yeah, for sure. Hit the like button. Definitely hit the like button on the way in. So I know I didn't want to come back and do the show as me and Destin did it. Like I didn't want to do it the same way we did it. Shout out to Vendaro Jones. I didn't want to do it that way. You know, I wanted this show to be more personable. I wanted y'all to get to know me a bit more because that's my favorite part of this whole gig. Like everything I do is getting to know you guys. A lot of y'all reach out to me on Twitter. A lot of y'all I know in real life. So we have those kind of talks. But I never felt like this show and this chat, the community, like I never felt like it got to the level where I wanted it to get to where, you know, we was really, really like a family because that's what I want this thing to be about. Like I don't want to come up here and just give y'all the info and kind of be robotic with it, say all the right things that everybody want to hear. Like that's not me. Like I ain't that type of dude. I never been a professional type of guy. I mean, I know y'all see me wear suits and stuff sometimes, but that ain't me. Like I'm just laid back. I just really want to be the vehicle between you guys and the team. Take y'all behind the scenes, let y'all know what's going on, and share that information with y'all because I know what it's like to be in the dark and not knowing what's going on with your team, and I absolutely hated it. Uh, but while I was figuring that out during these last couple of weeks, that what I wanted to do with the show, I got a phone call from my brother. A lot of you guys know who my brother is. He's a very successful coach in the NFL, and part of the reason why I do this, he's the reason I have a lot of these connections with. I talk to 9 or 10 position coaches probably per month, at least about 9 or 10. A couple of them I talk to on a regular basis. I talk to a couple coordinators in the league, just guys that I just met personally as friends. And we talk about different things that's going on behind the scenes. And I feel like that's important information that needs to be put out to y'all. Now, obviously, I can't share everything with y'all, but I try to share as much as possible and be transparent in that because I don't feel like no other place is really giving you that. And that's my whole purpose of continuing to do the show. I want to give y'all something that nobody is giving y'all. There's a tons of good coach podcasts out there, people that come up and educate you and give you analysis and information, and they're great at what they do. And I'm a fan of those guys as well, but I don't want to do that kind of show. That kind of show is not me. I don't want to say it's boring. It's just not my style. I just choose to be a little more loose. Give y'all guys analysis, of course, because I do see the game different because I talk to these people. I've been around football my entire life. My brother played in the NFL for 4 years before he started coaching. I know tons of coaches, tons of players. I look at the game very differently. And it allows me to be able to connect with y'all, though, because at the end of the day, I'm just a fan as well. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm a fan. I just happen to know a lot of people, and they give me information, and I relay it to y'all. That's all I am. Nothing special. I just want y'all to know that if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't be doing none of this. Like, none of this would be possible. None of the success I have, which has been tons. Like, you guys have supported me. Y'all showed up for me in a big way. I never thought I'd even be here. All the Twitter followers and DMs I get, and people invite me on their shows, from being shout out on national shows. Pat McAfee getting tweeted by multiple inside guys that acknowledge me, Peter Schrager, just a bunch of people, man, that show me love. I just wanted to say I appreciate it all, man, and it's only because of y'all why I even decided to continue to do this, because it's not the most lucrative thing to do. I got a wife, I got kids, I got a full-time job at the post office. Most of y'all know that. I've been working at the post office for 11 years. Like, when I come here, I'm literally exhausted. I'm burnt out. I talk to people all the time, and I'm excited to do it because I love the coach. I probably wouldn't do it. I have had job offers for Green Bay Packers. People offer me jobs that probably paid more than what I'm doing here, but the passion just ain't the same. So I couldn't go there and do my job the way I can do it for you guys because I'm just that passionate about the team, just like y'all. Same way y'all are passionate about them. So I just got to be transparent with you guys, man. I just have to be transparent, and that's the way I'm going to run this show. I'm not going to have a whole bunch of things lined up because I want you guys to dictate this show. Like, I'm going to ask you guys what you guys want me to talk about. I'm going to get you guys input on a lot of this stuff because I don't plan on bringing in another co-host. Like that the last relationship, me and Dustin rocked out for 3.5 years. I'm good with co-hosts. It's like I can't, the separation, it kind of left me in a frenzy for a second. And I really just want to just do my own thing at this point. I'm definitely gonna have guests up, all kind of people that you probably wouldn't even think of. It's gonna be unconventional guests for sure, but I'm definitely gonna have some of you guys up because I want to hear from you guys. And I want to know what you guys like me to discuss. I want your input as much as possible because I want this show to be for the people. Like I don't see another show that's out like that in Colts Nation. And I want to be that show for us. I want to be the show that's driven, that's fan driven. I know people take questions from fans, and I just want to turn the dial just a bit past that, to actually get you guys up here and talk to you guys and get to know you guys, because that's what it's all about. It's about me being personable, getting to know you guys, and I want you guys to get to know me. Aside from, Jonathan Taylor being one of my favorite players or something like that, or how excited I am about Anthony Richardson. So, with that being said, Saddle Up Show will continue. I will be the sole and only host of the show, but I'm definitely gonna get a bunch of co-hosts because I got a lot of good people I met doing this. A lot of people I like, a lot of people I rock with. I'm gonna have them up here for sure. We're gonna chop it up, and I'm gonna get their opinions on a lot of things. Shout out to my guy Drake, man, one of the realest guys in it, like hard working guy, like somebody who worked their ass off. I admire him and his hard work. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Now that I got that out the way, I've done the housekeeping. For the most part, though, show will still be ran pretty much the same way it is, man. I'm gonna get to as many questions as possible. If you guys just want to interrupt me and stop me from talking, super chat is probably the easiest way to do that. Because as soon as I see it, I'm gonna shut up and throw it up on the screen. But if you send too many, I'm gonna take it as disrespect that you don't want to hear me talk, and you don't want to disrespect me. I don't like to be disrespected. But let's talk about training camp, man. Training camp opened today. We talked to Chris Ballard yesterday. I thought this conversation was interesting. And just hearing his thoughts on a lot of things, it kind of confirmed a lot of things that we've said up here, a lot of things that I've said and I've tweeted, as far as how they feel about the offensive line, how they feel about the cornerbacks. As far as the offensive line goes, it's frustrating because I know there's a lot of guards, there's a lot of offensive linemen out there that can come in right away and I think compete to be a starter at that right guard spot. It's really the only glaring hole on the offensive line. I know some people still are not convinced that Bernard Ryman is the answer at left tackle. I feel a bit better about him down the stretch at the end of last season. Watch the tape. He looks good. He got more comfortable as the season went on. As far as right guard, I just don't know, man. I think Will Fries took all the first team reps today. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of good guards that's still on the market. And when I say good guards, I don't mean, top of the market people that can compete for a starting position. Let's be honest here. The bar is in hell. It's not like, you got to come in and be all the world to get snaps for this Indianapolis Colts offensive line. I mean, I saw Andrew Norman. I did see Andrew Norman get released from the Commanders. Let's see what Mr. Cole talking about that. Dalton Reisner. Seen people hit me about him. Who else people hit me about? It's a bunch of people that's still available. You know, where do you place Freeland? I see Nate asking me. Um, in OTAs, I know Nate worked out a lot at right tackle with Braden Smith kicking inside to right guard. Might not be a bad idea. I see Dave Jackson. Drake mentions who's another guy I think can definitely beat out. There's a ton of guys that can beat out Fries. At least about 4 or 5 right guys right now. I think that's on the open market that can beat out probably Will Fries. Uh, but Ballard seems to be pretty content with the group. You know, he saw flashes of good play. I think what Ryan Kelly had to say was interesting about the offensive line. You say Tony Sperano, the new offensive line coach, showed them a lot of cut-ups and where they was winning reps individually, but they was just getting beat off communication. The communication was never good. We literally saw it from week one. Uh, People would just found out you can just run stunts or games, as some people call them, or twists. You know, there's multiple names for it. But people who's running those repeatedly, and the coach just didn't have an answer for it. They just never was able to pass guys off and communicate that to each other. And they got beat with it repeatedly. Like it was insane how many times they got beat by the same thing. So I get why the coach may feel like just cleaning up communication will fix everything. Like we'll fix everything on the offensive line, and seems like we're going to find that out. Now I did hear there was interest in a couple guards, but nothing seemed to play out. Maybe that's something the coach will revisit once they get a good look at these guys at camp and see if they absolutely need to bring a body in. But this is the time. This is the time. So if you're concerned because they haven't done it yet, just give them a chance to get a good look at these guys. And training camp, that's exactly what training camp and preseason is for. You know, training camp and, and preseason is the perfect time to find out what you have in the roster and the perfect time for you to address it. Let's be honest here. Getting these guys in before camp it wouldn't change much. You know, I know there's certain communication and comfort level that the offensive lineman has to get, but if it's a veteran guard who's been around the league for a long time, which most likely it will be, they'll be able to come right in and play immediately. So I'm not worried about that. For the offensive, that take care of the offensive line. Cornerbacks, let's get to JT because I know that's a popular guy to talk about. JT, the coach placed him on an active pup list. Let me tell y'all something. Breaking news. Y'all ready? I'm gonna give y'all some behind the scenes news. Nothing is wrong with Jonathan Taylor. He's healthy. He's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. This, I believe, in my opinion, is a contract thing. The Colts have a number in mind. Colts are pretty set on that number. Jonathan Taylor probably don't feel the greatest about the number because we've seen what's been happening at the running back position. You know, it's just a shame what's going on with the market at running back. And that's another conversation for another day. You know, I guess we'll get into that one of these days where I feel like discussing it. But it's driving its value down, man. I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry. People pulled up the stats. It's not a lot of highly paid running backs that's won Super Bowls, you know, and not that should dictate, you know, how we should look at Jonathan Taylor. Oh, I see somebody just said, Ursay just tweeted about running backs. Uh-oh, breaking news. I'm trying to give y'all my breaking news about Jonathan Taylor not really being hurt. Oh, Ursay tweeted 12 minutes ago. NFL running back situation. We negotiated a CBA that took years of effort and hard work and compromise and good faith by both sides. To say now that a specific player category wants another negotiation after the fact is inappropriate. Some agents are selling bad faith. Hey man, y'all know how Ursay is, man. Ursay is definitely gonna speak his mind. about all things, like even at the most inopportune time, right? Like this is probably the most inopportune time for Ursay to go and say how he feels while you're currently in a contract dispute, with your running back. Do I feel like this leak into the season? No. I think the Colts get a deal done. They're probably in a staring contest right now, and waiting to see who's going to blink first. But the fact that Taylor still has another year under contract, it's not like a Josh Jacobs situation where he's a free agent now and he hasn't signed his franchise tag. Taylor doesn't take whatever deal the Colts has on the table right now. They can potentially just tag him twice and then let him walk come 2026. I don't see it playing out that way. I think a deal gets done. Like the type of guy Jonathan Taylor is, I just think he ends up signing a contract. But the fact that it hasn't happened yet, I know a lot of people are worried. But just remember, Quentin Nelson literally signed the day before the first NFL game, like the Saturday before. So I think it's gonna happen. It's just all banter, back and forth banter. I think Pittman gets a deal done. Pittman's going to get decent money. Pittman's going to get more money than a lot of you probably think that he's going to get. I've seen somebody tweeting out about $15 million per year. Pittman is definitely going to get more than that. AAV. Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh Steelers got around 18 per year. So that they're looking at that as pretty much the bar. He's definitely going to get good money. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 20. I know people hate that number, 20 million, but I can see it. I just think it makes sense to pay them both right now while you have Anthony Richardson on the budget. I mean, you need to get as many weapons around him as possible. If you're not, and let's be honest here, the Colts save money. What would they do with it? It's not like if they say, all right, let's say they're gonna skim out on Jonathan Taylor. What you gonna do with that money? I would look at this situation entirely different if Chris Ballard spent money. I was like, okay, he's saving every dollar. He's penny pinching just to make sure that he has the most money possible to spend. But you're not gonna spend it. You're just gonna hoard it. You have $25 million cap space right now. You can have even more if you gave Jonathan Taylor an extension or Michael Pittman an extension. Because you could drop the cap hit for this year or next year. Like, you can open up money. There's tons of ways to do it, but the Colts don't spend it. So, why are we even crying over pennies? Now, in 4 or 5 years, when that Richardson deal comes knocking, we're going to be skimming everybody at that time. We're definitely going to be skimming off the top of every contract. We're going to need all the pennies and nickels we can to sign that Anthony Richardson contract. I know y'all seen what Justin Herbert got paid. Boy got baseball money. Ridiculous. I think he's a talented dude, too. He deserves it. He was failed by his offensive coordinator. But after seeing what Jim Irsay just said, Jonathan Taylor, I'd be surprised if he show up tomorrow. He's pissed, man. I know that pissed him off. That pissed him off pretty bad. I know it did. He's probably punching the air right now. Definitely. Yeah. So let's talk about cornerbacks. Chris Ballard was asked a question about cornerbacks, and he responded that they've been decided that they were going to go with a youth movement at cornerback. This was prior to losing Isaiah. And for those of you that don't know, I released an article, and that's kind of what I'm going over, what I'm using as this training camp preview is kind of like what I'm using as an outline for it. But I released an article on Horseshoe Huddle yesterday talking about the top 5 things I'm looking forward to the most in training camp. So if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, I talk about the offensive line, and I also talked about cornerbacks, which I'm about to talk about right now. So losing Isaiah Rodgers hurt, man. It hurt. Chris Ballard thinks that he's expecting Dallas Flowers to take a huge step, which wouldn't surprise me. Very, very talented guy. really talented. I liked him when he did get to see extensive time on the field at the end of last season. I still don't. He still doesn't have enough snaps to make me feel comfortable, but I feel a little bit better about him, than the rest of these guys because the rest of these guys we just don't know. He mentioned drafting 3 rookies. Hopefully, at least if you come out with 2 of those guys that can really play, you did well. Darius Rush is probably my favorite cornerback out of the 3 rookies. I think his potential is through the roof. Actually, I have no idea how he fell that far in the draft, but I think he's going to be a steal. I think he's a guy with a really high ceiling. Hasn't been playing cornerback that long. Former wide receiver. The ball skills are there. The speed is there. The athleticism. I think he just has that type of potential. And we haven't been able to see our guy Juju really yet, But Indianapolis native, Juju, hometown kid. Look forward to seeing him out there. He's specifically made for this Gus Bradley defense. Like Gus Bradley can build you in the lab, can build a cornerback in the lab. He looked just like Juju with his athleticism and everything. Like everything is what he's made for. So the cornerback position is going to be dicey. It is. It's going to be growing pains. It's going to be really rough to watch in the beginning. But in the long run, I think it'll pay off. Good news on the Colts training camp front. My guy Shaq Leonard was out there. What up, Noah? I see you coming in. I see you creeping in the back door. You that kid in the class that snuck in, but the back door is real squeaky. So we hear you coming in. Everybody, the whole class turned around. Look at Noah. Noah's late. What up, Noah? My boy. Appreciate you coming through. But Shaq, man, let's talk about it. Y'all better keep the same energy because y'all wanted to kill Shaq. Y'all wanted to trade him. Y'all wanted to hang that man when y'all thought he wasn't going to be ready for training camp. My man showed up. And not only did he just show up, he wasn't without pads and working off to the side with a trainer. My man was doing individual drills and got on the field for 11 on 11. So I don't want to hear it. Shaq is back, and Shaq is a game changer for this defense. The job Gus Bradley did without Shaq last year is a job that should be commended. I was one of those guys that wasn't excited about Gus Bradley, the Gus Bradley hire as far as what he would do with the Colts because while I have tremendous respect for Gus Bradley, he gave my brother his first coaching job in 2017 with the Chargers. So I have tremendous respect for him as a person. Spoke to him a bunch of times, have a relationship with him. But I wasn't excited about it just because Gus has pretty much been what Gus has been for the last 5 years. But guess what? He came over here, he turned up. Gus turned up. Gus was in his bag for the majority of the season last season. Proved all the naysayers wrong, like me and other people that's not man enough to admit when they was wrong, like me. But he proved us wrong, man. He was more multiple than I've ever seen him. He allowed the secondary to do a bunch of different things, more things that he had been traditionally willing to do. And he was really good. To say he didn't even have Shaq, the debacle that the offense was, the positions the offense put him in, and for him to still have a middle of the pack, not even better than middle of the pack defense, which you can consider pretty much a top 10 defense till the wheels just completely fell off at the end of the season, because we had a day of the week as our head coach. Shout out to that day of the week. But the offense was abysmal. And for Jeff to do what he did, man, it's to be commended, man. I said Jeff, I'm sorry. For Gus to do what he did, it's to be commended. And shout out to Jeff, too. Jeff Saturday eventually landed us Anthony Richardson. So anybody that contributed to us getting us Anthony Richardson is definitely going to get a shout-out on this show. Shout out to Rodney Thomas. I know people killed you how that jersey looked on you. And how y'all feel about the midnight blue jerseys? I didn't even get a chance to ask y'all because there was no show last week. How did y'all feel about the midnight blue jerseys? Y'all yay or nay on them? Y'all like them? Y'all don't like them? Y'all like the black matted helmets or y'all don't like them? I need to know because I'm thinking about buying one of them. And it's not going to be a Jonathan Taylor jersey. What Jim Irsay just tweeted, it's definitely not going to be. It's not going to be a Jonathan Taylor jersey. Jonathan may be out of here after seeing what Irsay said. Duke vibes, but I like him for sure. For sure, definitely giving off Duke vibes. Okay, bunch of yay. My guy Matt, yay. Yay, but nothing beats original. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Thumbs up, yay, from Joseph Davis. I see Coach getting a different third QB for practice squad. Ellinger had his chance, but he not it. Yeah, man, I've been seeing Ellinger named in the comments a bunch since the stream started, but I just kind of didn't even want to waste y'all time really talking about Sam Ellinger. But I mean, if y'all really want to talk about Sam Ellinger, we could. But I just, even this little excerpt I just said about him, just pretty much too much. Too much Ellinger. Oh man, I'm old school. I buy my jerseys from like the official site. Like I don't have no Jersey Connect or nothing like that. Like, you know, I need to find a Jersey Connect. But the last two jerseys I bought was a Matt Ryan and a Carson Wentz. So I got two number 2s sitting in my closet right now. And yeah, it's bad choices by me. Terrible choices by me. What do y'all? Oh, wow. We definitely got to talk about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. The energy that Anthony Richardson has just given to the Colts community has been just amazing, man. Like, you can literally tweet out anything about Anthony Richardson right now, and it pretty much goes viral, man. I seen this man run a read option and keep it for like a 10-yard touchdown at camp today, and people were falling out their chairs for it. I'm happy for it, man. I like to see it, man. I am super excited because it's been so long since the Colts have had that, thing to be excited about. A young quarterback. They finally got off the treadmill, man. Like you said, the hope is real again. We needed that as a fan base. We've needed that for so long, bro. Dread it. I used to be Sunday morning when I was waking up, man, to watch these games. And then knowing I had to come sit in front of y'all and talk about this team, I hated it. I was checked out halfway through last season. I was completely checked out, man. It was awful. I never want to go through that again. So anybody that covered the Colts last season, man, respect to you, bro, for hanging in there and dealing with that, because that was just, oh my God. It was awful, man. It was awful. But Anthony Richardson has restored the feeling again. I saw him make a couple of nice throws, one to Ethan Fournier. Who else? Vincent. Saw him make a sliding catch in the back of the end zone. Gardner Minshew out there looking good. Michael Pittman yesterday saying that he doesn't see how Anthony Richardson could fail. The guy's always in his playbook from what the people are saying. I said this a couple weeks ago. I even tweeted it. I wrote it in my article. That's what I did. So if you guys see in my article, I was just telling you how behind the scenes I heard that, he was so far ahead, like of where they thought he would be as far as the verbal part of learning and the maturation that he's making on the mental side of it. And I was like, the biggest issue in training camp is getting him to translate it to the field, because if he shows he can translate where he is on the field, then he'll for sure be the starter, because he's slowly closing the mental gap that Gardner Minshew has on him. physically, there's no comparison between the two. But Gardner's just so far ahead of him mentally. Well, so we thought coming into camp. It's which was going to give Gardner Minshew the edge. Shout out to that. Shout out to my article. Rich Gardner is what I call this section. What you have to do is take the processing, take the playbook, take the mental side of it, and apply it on the field. And if Anthony Richardson finds a way to do that, then, man, he's going to be out there sooner rather than later. I seen a Ricky Watts tweet about Week 10. Y'all, don't listen to those people, man. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. I'm not even telling you listen to me, but just don't listen to them, okay? He'll be out there before Week 10. You can book it. If you want to clip this, he'll be out there before Week 10. You have my word on that. I know that for a fact. So unless he does something really awful between now and the start of the season, he'll be out there before Week 10. I can promise you that. Like I said, as long as he closed the gap as far as the knowing the playbook, knowing the language is a big part of how you get on the field as a quarterback. You have to know it through and through. You can't compromise on that. The mental side, Shane Steichen, he's a nerd, man, and he will not compromise on the language part of the offense. You have to know it through and through, and I think that's what Anthony Richardson is making he's striving to see that, man. As far as Will Mallory, I just got a question about Mallory. Mallory, it's just disappointing that he's starting out, on PUP. It's taking a little bit longer for him to heal than initially. He started off at rookie minicamp, and then by OTAs the next week, he was in a boot. So it's just unfortunate, man, because this would have been some valuable reps for him, and he's competing at a tight end position that is loaded with Jelani Woods, Colin Granton, Moelle Cox, Farrell Brown, Will Mallory. It's just so many guys at that position. And it's a good problem to have. Like, this is the Colts' deepest position. There's going to be a guy that get cut that's a really good player, and the Colts don't have a lot of positions to where they need all the good players that they can get. They can't afford to have guys back into the roster guys that's contributors anywhere else. Like, these back into the roster guys are like the bottom of the barrel. But it's going to be somebody really good that's going to get cut at tight end. And I'm interested to see how that position shakes out. Jelani Woods has lost some weight. Everything I was hearing, I tweeted about this as well. Everything I was hearing was that Jelani Woods is in for a big role this season. People are really excited about him on that coaching staff. That's 100% the truth. I can see him in the Dallas Goedert role, similar role, using him, leaking out on some of these plays and going up the seam, just finding a way to stretch, to put him out there and capitalize off these mismatches. When you have a guy that's 6'7", that runs as fast as he does, like, you have to capitalize off that. He showed flashes last year. He was dynamite like last year. And for some strange reason, the Frank Reich offenses, and I know a lot of people are frustrated about this, when something works, he goes away from it. He goes away from it for several weeks. And then you see it again, and then guess what? It's gone. Colts House. Shout out to Colts House. They must have just pulled up. We talked about JT. But to answer your question, my brother, I do think he will get his bag soon. I definitely do. I definitely think that he will get his bag soon. I don't know how much that'll be, though. And with Irsay's tweet, I'm going back down on my original number. So we'll see how that works out. What else did I wanted to discuss? What else did y'all want to talk about? Y'all want me to hit on really quickly? So we got a little time. Got a few people in here. Y'all remember, hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. I need that. I need to show up in more people's algorithm. Steichen. I just hope Steichen doesn't get cocky as far as play usage and hold players accountable, unlike Reich. Interesting take. Interesting take. Yeah, Reich and Steichen is different in that regard. Um, I don't know if Steichen's going to be different because of you know this is his first head coaching job. I met Steichen. I told you guys about that. I told you guys about that's funny. Hit the like button and I'll do the Harlem Shake. I would probably do the Harlem. No, let me not. Let me not before someone clips this and it be on Twitter. But Steichen is different, man. He's a nerd, like, and I mean that in the most respectful way as possible. Like he's just a nerd, you know. I wrote about when Steichen got hired. I wrote about my first interaction with Steichen. I don't know if any of you guys got to read it. I think at that time, I don't know if I was still with Stampede Blue or if I had just got to Horseshoe Huddle, but I wrote about it and I talked about it on the show. But I'll give you a quick version of what it was like. You know, I was walking around the Chargers facility, actually, me and my mother, and my brother. My brother was showing me around. He had been working for the Chargers at that time for 2 years. It was the last game of the 2018 season. Whew, I don't want to lie. It was either 18 or 19 season. I think it was 18 though. Chargers was playing the Raiders. I got a chance to walk around the facility. It was 17, because that was Reich's. Reich was here. Reich had just got here, so it might have been 18. But anyway, I was walking around the Chargers facility, and Steichen was outside working with Phillip Rivers. It was 2 days before the last game of the season, and my brother introduced me to Steichen. And nicest guy, polite guy, spoke to me and my mom, and he's such a nerd. He was working with Phillip Rivers, who had at that time been in the league, 13, 14 years. And they was going over technical stuff. Like that's how much Steichen pays so much attention to detail. They were having footwork conversations and doing footwork drills that deep into his coaching career. Steichen, he's a nerd. He's very cerebral. That's a good word for it. Cerebral, attention to detail. He is a technician. So that's one thing I do know that these guys are going to get. They're going to get the best technical work possible from the quarterback position. And that's why I'm so excited about Anthony Richardson because, I see his quarterback, his trainer is awesome. He's working with all the right people. He has the right mentality. That's why Pittman is saying it's impossible for this guy to fail because when you look at his physical tools, pair that with a guy like Shane Steichen, pair that with a guy like Jim Bob Cooter, with who he's worked with, unless Anthony Richardson doesn't want to be great, then he'll be great. Like he has to absolutely not want to be great at all for him to fail. Like that is the only way possible. Now I'm not saying he's going to come out instantly and light it up, but he has to put the work in. But as long as mentally he's committed to putting the work in, he's going to be just fine. Like this kid, sky is the limit for Anthony Richardson. And Steichen is the perfect coach for it. Steichen is the absolute perfect coach to bring that out of him. I'm sure we all know what he did with Justin Herbert. We all know what he did with Phillip Rivers. We all know what he did with Jalen Hurts. Like the writing is on the wall for Anthony Richardson to be that next guy. But the good thing is we get to keep Steichen. Those other teams, he moved on from those other places. They lost him. We get to keep him. So I'm excited. The real Coach asked a good question. Who plays the Devontae Smith role, downs or Pierce? This is a tough question. And I'm glad you asked it. I'm glad you asked it because I don't think anybody can play the Devontae Smith role specifically because he's just such a unique player at his size and what he's able to do. But I'm also glad that you brought that up because in this offense, Alec Pierce is one player that I think he doesn't have to change anything, like anything. He doesn't have to improve in any shape, form, or fashion from last year to be a better player this year because of the system that he was in. The system is so conducive to his skill set that he can be the exact same player he was last year and he would still have a big year in this offense if everything goes according to, because it's a vertical offense, which is exactly what Alec Pierce is, a vertical receiver, a vertical threat. That's what he is. That's what he does. That's what he excels at. You know, he hasn't developed a full route tree yet. There were concerns about that coming out of college. That was my concerns about him. But I had no idea he was going to be in a vertical offense. Now that he's in that, the sky is the limit for that kid. Literally, the sky is the limit for him. Like I'm just so excited about what he can do, man. I'm definitely excited about what he can do. The potential he has in this offense. Pittman is going to be more the slasher guy running the drags, crossers. Pittman route tree is a little bit more diverse than people like to give him credit for. People think that he can just go up there. He's just a big body, jump ball type of guy. That's not who he is, actually. When you look at him, that's like a litmus test for if you want to know if people know what they're talking about when they're discussing different players. Pittman just see Pittman 6'4", 200 plus, big body guy. They think he just goes up and he's a ball winner. But that's not who he is. He's a slasher. He's a knifer. He's a guy that runs slants, runs comebacks, runs drags, and he can surprisingly move with the ball in his hands. He's one of those type of guys that gives you the tough yards. He does the dirty work. He's a guy you need. Every offense needs a Michael Pittman. That type of guy, that type of reliability. I know he had some drops last year. Let's not forget he caught 99 balls. And he caught it from a combination of Sam Ehlinger, Matt Ryan, and Nick Foles. Like, people always have the conversation about is Michael Pittman number one. And maybe he's not an elite number one. But it's not much difference what T. Higgins does, what Mike Williams does, and what Michael Pittman does. Michael Pittman's not far from those receivers. Those receivers just have better quarterbacks than Michael Pittman. Swap T. Higgins and Michael Pittman. Put Michael Pittman as the number 2 in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. He looks just like T. Higgins looks. Put him with the Chargers, where he's the number 2 with Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. Michael Pittman looks the same way. This is the stuff nobody says, though. Nobody talks about that. Nobody batted an eyelash when Mike Williams got $20 million. Nobody's going to bat an eyelash when T. Higgins goes over $20 million. Those guys deserve that money. So that's what I'm saying. I think we're way too hard on Michael Pittman as a player. I think he's a damn good player, if you ask me. Guy that's willing to do the dirty work, reliable, win with one-on-ones in different ways. He just doesn't – he's not as flashy as you guys like. He doesn't put up the 1,500, 1,600-yard receiving yard seasons. I understand that. He doesn't catch the 10, 12 touchdowns. I understand that. But the guy's a damn good player, man. And I just think we just need to put more respect on his name. Josh Downs, I saw somebody ask about Josh Downs, and I didn't really didn't really see him today. I know he was out there. I do know he was out there, but my mind was so many different places, and I haven't even finished watching all the videos that I have from practice today. So I'll let you know once I get a chance to really dig in on Downs, man, because he's super good. I'm super interested in his role in this offense. Watching him and Isaiah McKenzie battle for the slot position is one of my favorite training camp battles. Both of those guys are just really shifty guys. I'm really looking forward to it, man. Like, that's going to be a good one to watch. I see Granson caught up. Yeah, Granson did catch a nasty one. Granson is the guy that gets slept on, man. Most unique skill set out of all of the tight ends. I don't think he's the best or has the highest ceiling. I think that's Jelani Woods. But Granson's skill set is so unique. The amount of separation that he gains on his routes, more than any other tight end that's in that room. Quickness, shiftiness, tough runner with the ball in his hands. Underneath, I think he can be a plus player for you if you use him in the right situations, which I think Steichen is great at designing things for specific skill sets. I'm sorry, I fumbled that one. Jack Rizzo, yes, Shad. Thank you so much for all the support you have. Oh, Sean, on your show. Yeah, his show was Jack's show was today, I believe, as well. I think I retweeted the link. If I didn't, just send it back, and I'm gonna do it. I'll do it right after this show. I'll retweet your link for sure. Show support, and I'm gonna check it out as well. Let's see more conversation going on in the chat. Coach House, I love when no one expects anything from the coach. Even projected high. I mean, the last 2 seasons we've been projected high. How's that work? How's that worked out for us? We missed the playoffs in dramatic fashion by just blowing the last 2 games of the season. And we took that momentum. And carried it right on into next season. Well, we couldn't even beat the Texans. Think about that. We didn't beat the Houston Texans last year. And we played them twice and didn't beat them. 5 seconds for reflection. The damn Texans we couldn't beat. I don't even want to talk. Look, can we Thanos snap that season just from our memory? I know it led us to Anthony Richardson. I'm excited about that. But the rest of it, can we just blip it? Can we blip it away? That was just awful, man. That's just awful. Shout out to Noah. Noah said, wish they project a playoff push for us. Oh, he wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh my God. One of you guys have to tell me who it was that it was Locked On. I seen Locked On tweeted us having the 3rd worst record and us taking the tackle from Penn State, I believe. The tackle from Penn State over MHJ and had MHJ going at number 4. Do you know how much we would Coach community and Coach Nation would just riot? And Dame, my boy, too. Dame followed me. I followed Dame. Damn, Dame. Dame, my dude, too. I'm going to have to DM Dame. I don't want to address him on the timeline. They might think we really have a dispute, but I need to talk to Dame. If we go tackle over MHJ, boy, they are going to burn Lucas Oil. They would burn Lucas Oil down to the ground, bro. I couldn't imagine the coach doing something like that. Like, that would just be, awful. That would be worse. That's probably the worst possible outcome. For us to actually suck enough to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and then don't take him. Oh boy. Yeah. I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening. I know it's only been 2 practices. Yesterday was pretty much an introductory day. It was just talking to people. And today they actually stepped on the field for the first time. So next week we can really dive into training camp for real, and talk about what we're seeing. Hasn't been enough. Hey, shout out to my boy. I don't want to butcher your first name, Augustine. But hey, that's Shy. Greetings from Panama City. Panama. Shout out Panama, man. Do you think JT is as critical piece for AR's development as the old line? I think we should keep him for at least the first 2 years of AR. I agree, man. I agree. You probably just pulled up, so you missed the Jonathan Taylor segment. But I think, just to kind of rehash it a little bit, I think he's that instrumental to taking the pressure off of Anthony Richardson. Like they need him. I don't think he's as important as the offensive line. I think the offensive line is the most important thing to a quarterback development, period. But after that, when it comes to surrounding that offensive line, you need a running back that you can lean on and hand the ball off to. That's the what was this? The Strong make this roster. Make or break training camp for Strong, man. Make or break. Make or break. Put up a shut up. We're going off of we're out of the potential phase with him. Like we're off that. Like you've been going on potential, saying what we think you can be for too long. It's time to prove it, man. It's time to prove it, and we just can't. We can't do this with you anymore. As far as I see somebody's asking about the training camp schedule. Shout out my boy Deep. If I'm not mistaken, they practice today. I think they practice again Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I think they're off next Wednesday, which is when this show will be. So I'll be able to really dig into what's happening so far. We'll be a weekend on training camp, and I'll have probably about 5 or 6 more practices that I can really get a chance to look at and tell you guys what I'm seeing out there, and also talk to you guys about what I'm hearing behind the scenes, man. And I see we're right at just about an hour. I guess that's gonna wrap it. I don't think there's anything else pertinent. That's one of my vocabulary words. Pertinent, not a word I use every day. I only use it when I'm podcasting and when I'm writing articles, of course. I'm looking at my article trying to see if there's anything else. Did you guys have anything else? Yep, shout out to Colts House. He is right. Next Thursday, gentlemen, football is back. I believe the Hall of Fame game will consist of the Jets and the Cleveland Browns, if I'm not mistaken. The irony, Cleveland Browns in the Hall of Fame game. But yeah, man, I think that's it, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. The Saddle Up Show will continue. Look, Destin hit me. Destin sent me a message. I definitely gotta read it and text him back, man. That's my dog, man. That is my dog, and we're gonna chop it up for sure. We definitely gonna talk about this Colts preseason and this Colts training camp. I'm excited, man. Like I'm so excited to see what Anthony Richardson gonna do. They injected some videos into my veins. I don't know how I'm gonna sleep tonight. I really don't know how I'm gonna sleep tonight, man. I appreciate y'all though, man. Make sure y'all come back next Wednesday and make sure y'all do what this man is telling y'all to do. Get those likes. I gotta make some mods and all that stuff. Y'all know I'm not really the YouTube guy. Like I just need to make some mods though. I need somebody to have some organization in the chat. Somebody that got some authority. Somebody who rock out with me. Shout out to Noah, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out Panama. Shout out Coast House. Got a lot of people I got to get with and talk about because I got a lot of appearances to make on some shows and talk some Colts football. This will definitely be a place where we could do that, man. Shout out my man. He said he in on being my squad for sure, man. I'm definitely going to get with you about that. And thank y'all for coming through, man. I will see y'all again next Wednesday when we talk about more of this Colts training camp. I will see y'all then. Peace.